change.
Ted Lasso there.
I love that. But no, Ted Lasso would be excited, and so would Coach Beard, because we've got a game to watch here. It is kicking off right in front of you, going right to left on your screen, wearing the road blues, are the New Hampshire Wildcats, better known colloquially, and I can say this as a New Englander, as UNH, so I will be calling them that the rest of the way. Louisville in their white with red shorts, going left to right on your screen. Casey Whitfield here with me. I am Jeff Greer. And two 2-0 teams ready to kick off here and get going. And right away, UNH showing a little spark down that right flank. And that is Megan Garenti, who has been a huge player for UNH the last couple of years. 5 goals and 5 assists last year, and already has 2 goals this season. Now Louisville back in the other direction. 10 goals in 2 games for Karen Ferguson-Days' team. And Mackenzie Geigley opened the scoring against UAB on Sunday. Lizzie Sexton, the right back there, number 14 for Louisville, just absolutely marauding down the right flank for the Cardinals from Cincinnati. And a bright start here, really, from both teams. This is Betsy Huckabee, the midfielder for Louisville, trying to keep possession. Captain Carson Cherry wearing that number 22 shirt. Hadley Snyder. And there's Brooke Dardano, the left back, 3 assists in the season opener. Dardano becoming the first player in the Louisville women's soccer program to register 3 assists at Lynn Stadium. So etching her name in the record books. There's Steve Wellham in his 11th season at UNH. And they were picked 3rd in the America East this year. Tough league. And they're going to have to rely on their goalkeeper, Sally Rainey. We'll talk more about her as the match progresses. But it's important, Casey, as we always talk about, to have an anchor who's got a lot of talent. She is their defensive anchor.
Well, you need a vocal leader out there too, kind of coaching the back line, coaching newer players, coaching players that maybe haven't played together in formations. Having a solid figure in the back that is able to communicate well and coach them on where they need to go, where the spaces are, where the players are, is absolutely critical and sets teams apart, especially early on in the season.
There's Karen Ferguson-Days in her 24th season, signed a contract extension through 2026. She has seen some real battles on this field and beyond. She's played or coached teams in 3 different leagues, maybe 4 if my math is foggy here for me, but she has just been a fixture for Louisville athletics over the years. And she's excited about this team as Mackenzie Geigley is free in the area. Tried to square it, good defending though. It falls for Cochran, and the shot was blocked. But a bright start here from U of L.
Really good start here from the Cards, and Mackenzie Geigley making the most out of that opportunity. I like how it fell to Cochran. If only she could have taken that one time. When she takes that touch, she allows the defense time to then step and close the space, which they did very well. So if Cochran can maybe try to take that one time, she might have a better look at getting that on target.
A little bit of a shifted back line here for UNH in this one, as Ginny De La Cruz moved out to the left back spot. She was in center back position the last 2 games. And Lydia Poulin has moved into the center back position. As Amber Jackson just won a corner for Louisville. Jackson has been a bright newcomer on this team. Of course, was here last year and redshirted after the injury, but the Oregon State transfer already showing that scoring touch, scored twice in the opener. As Brooke Dardano trots over to take this corner. It'll be a left-footed delivery, but we've got a pause and play here, as our head referee, John Motto, just minding his P's and Q's. Dardano set for another delivery here. It's a good ball in. It had to be cleared away at the last moment there. It was Poulin who got her head on it. And a foul. Or no, it's going to be a throw-in on the far side for Louisville. This is Victoria Vick, the Dane, playing out on that left-hand side. Emma Kate Schroll there, number 26 for Louisville. 2 assists the last time out. Nice turn there from Jackson, but cleared away.
New Hampshire is having to stay really compressed defensively. They've kind of got 2 blocks of all of their players except for Delaney Loppin, who's staying high, kind of being that release point. But all of the players dropping back and really clogging the box, making it difficult for the Cards to be able to even get a breath of fresh air in that space.
Late lunge there from Cochran, trying to keep things alive in the box, will alleviate some of that pressure that UNH was facing. And we'll get a look there at Sally Rainey, the America East Goalkeeper of the Year, preseason All-America East. She is a New Hampshire kid from Lebanon, New Hampshire. Ali Giovino trying to spark something for UNH, but Geigley ends up with it. It's Hadley Snyder. She made a bunch of appearances off the bench in previous seasons, has moved into a starting role, but here's a giveaway. This is Lappin trying to get onto it. But Carson Cherry there to tidy it up. This is Geigley, product of the North Carolina Courage Academy. And a foul whistled in the middle of the field as Emma Kate Schroll took a little bit of a hit.
The pairing of Betsy Huckabee and Emma Kate Schroll in the middle for the Cards has been a game changer this season. It's allowed them to be able to play with 2 up front because those 2 players are capable of covering so much ground and disrupting so much, but yet managing possession for them, managing the game. They've just been pivotal in the success.
Here's Vick spraying out to Dardano, and they'll reset here, swing it. Carson Cherry, decorated high school soccer player from Lafayette, Indiana. Player who feels like she's been here forever at this point. She started right away. She's only a junior. And a foul called there that will break up play on this near side.
This is a great opportunity for New Hampshire to kind of clear their lines and see if they can push some bodies up the field. Can they begin to possess the ball a bit more in the middle, utilize the numbers that they have in the middle of the field compared to the Cards, possess a little bit there, change the point of attack, and begin to build some offense going forward.
I mentioned that frenetic comeback, 2 goals late. They fell behind 1-0 to Holy Cross, tied it up, fell behind 2-1, tied it up and went ahead to win. In a spirited game against Holy Cross, beat Stonehill in the opener. And Louisville really trying to play at pace here. This is Lizzie Sexton. Here's Betsy Huckabee. Huckabee and Dardano were teammates at South Oldham High School, winning state championship, powerhouse high school program. And there's the rundown of UNH. They got the clean sheet. They've got 3 different goal scorers. It's been a great start to the season for Guarenti. Again, she has been a mainstay for UNH now, the senior from New Jersey, and they are happy to be off to a 2-0 start in a very competitive league. Maine picked to win the America East. And here's a chance maybe to find some joy down this right side. Giovanna Castorina, the graduate student from LaSalle, transferred in. Loeb looking on the far side there, and Aaron Floyd comes off her line. to collect it. Probably wishful thinking for me, Casey, to think that Aaron Floyd would think about this, but a Connecticut kid, maybe it's fun to play a New England matchup here as Betsy Huckabee wins a foul on the near side touch line. It was Logue who got in there, Megan Logue. Huckabee, that desire to take on defenders. She is going to, it looked like for a second she was contemplating taking it, but Brooke Dardano is trotting all the way over for the left-footed delivery here.
This is a great chance for the Cards to really challenge Rainey and send a nice ball in, looking for their target, most likely Carson Cherry. She has just been so dangerous in the air for the Cards. I think this serves a right-footed service better if you're looking to bend it in for a cross. If you're looking to challenge the goalkeeper, then maybe a left foot.
It is left-footed delivery right in towards the penalty spot. It was cleared away, but only momentarily. Sexton scoops it for Vick. This is Huckabee trying to serve it back in. And Rainey coming off her line. And the foul is going to be called on Jackson. Perhaps just a touch late there with the goalkeeper in the vicinity.
Yeah, just a bit. Keeping their eye off the ball, late to the challenge. It's a great play by Sally Rainey to come out strong there and to be courageous. She knows that Jackson is coming in fast and hard, so to come out strong and to still be able to get on that, really nicely done from Rainey. I like that Jackson, though, tries to time that run beautifully. You can see her looking back and watching the defender. When are they going to play it? So she makes sure that she is on sides when that ball is played through.
Here's Molly Cochran. Nice little flip off to the right for Jackson, and you could tell Jackson was trying to curl that into the path of Victoria Vick there, but couldn't quite get the curl on it. And here's a look, Casey, at the way Louisville has started out shooting opponents 36-5 through the first two games.
They have just been so dominant offensively, and I think that sometimes the action that they've had offensively has kind of foreshadowed the defense. Like, people haven't recognized what defensive effort the Cards have put in to keep teams locked at only 5 shots. They have been rock solid across that back line.
A little bit more than 12 minutes into this. It's been mostly Louisville as the Cards try to play with a bit more energy. And it is just so noticeable, Casey, not to keep comparing it to a previous season, but the connectivity, I'll use the word verve here, the confidence getting forward. It just seems like they feel a lot more comfortable on the ball and pushing the envelope a little bit this season with this group.
One thing that they're doing a lot better at the start of this season than they have previously is creating options on the field. You can see when the player has the ball, there are 2 players that are checking to creating a triangle on the field. This is ensuring that they're able to successfully play out of that, and they're not having to make these big giant crosses or these hopeful passes. They're able to stay tight, close, and connected, and that's a sign of a team that understands how their players like to play. They know that this player likes to receive the ball this way and they want to play it this way, so they're moving to that spot to help them out. It's a team that knows each other and understands each other.
A lot of these players were here last year. In fact, I think everybody on the starting lineup was at least in the program last year. Here's Jackson. That cross had to be dealt with by UNH. Shouts for a handball. And the referees talking to each other. There's a pause here. And I believe he's going to go take a look at the replay here to see. John Motto, the referee, will jog over to take a look at a potential handball here, and we'll get a look at it ourselves. As the Cards trying to push the issue here. Beautiful night here in Louisville. And a potentially stakes-raising moment here in this match in the first 15 minutes. As we get another look at it here, Casey, what do you see?
It's a tight one. It depends on the angle that you can kind of see it. It hits her shoulder-ish, the sleeve area, which is really that kind of gray area in the referee world. Some refs think that that's a clear handball. Some say it's not. Where the line is of where the handball starts. But as you can see, it's right here as it bounces up. It looks like it hits her shoulder. I think it might be a no call. I don't know. Again, it's a gray area. It's tough.
And I know the referees are always trying to figure out what is a natural body movement as well, which makes things difficult. And the referee is coming out. So he looked at it, and he's communicating here with both coaches. Karen Ferguson dazed with a wry smile, so I'm guessing where this is headed is no penalty. And that is the call.
I think that's the right call. I will guarantee I will get corrected by my dad, who's a referee, if I'm wrong on this. But I think with the sleeve of the player from there down is considered handball. That kind of hit more of the shoulder area, in my opinion. So I think I think that's the right call.
We got a substitution here as Lauren Catini comes on. And I believe Molly Cochran is the one who came off, as she's getting attention here from the trainers on the near side. Lizzie Sexton with the throw. Catini had some bright moments in the match on Sunday against UAB. Another young player, freshman from New Philadelphia, Ohio, as there's Cochran getting worked on. A lot of young talent on this Louisville squad. If they can piece it all together in these early stages, perhaps enter an extremely difficult conference slate with some confidence. Still have a ways to go before they see a conference opponent. But then you start seeing some of the names on this list, Casey, and it's
daunting.
It's a gulp moment for Louisville fans, and really for most people in the conference. Let's add Stanford and Cal to the mix, along with SMU. Stanford, of course, a powerhouse women's soccer program. Sophia Smith, Kelly O'Hara, so many big-name players. Katarina Macario. I mean, it is an unbelievable program, and Louisville here trying to get on the front foot. Amber Jackson does well to get through a couple defenders. Schroll trying to get it out to Dardano, but it stays alive through Huckabee. And of course, Cal, Alex Morgan, a famous alum of Cal. So the list of big-time programs coming in.
And that's just from the new additions,
Yeah.
It's not including the other teams.
Yes, UNC,
in
FSU,
the conference and what they've produced.
Duke. Here's Geigley, tried to square it for Catini. And it was dealt with there nicely.
I think as a player, it's so cool to be able to have that opportunity to play in the best conference in women's soccer and to play in the league that or the conference that created all of these extremely talented players. To be able to have that opportunity is unmatched.
There's a foul on the far side. There's one by Brooke Dardano. There's a look at the ACC. Oh boy. There's 9 teams, if you include the receiving vote squads, in the top 30 in the country. That's pretty ridiculous. 3 in the top 5. Unbelievable as Huckabee and Dardano, the former high school teammates, stand over the ball together. Both from Crestwood, Kentucky, just outside of the Louisville metro area. And the ball is skipped on there. It was Catini who tried to get a foot on it, but easily handled there by Rainey.
decent idea. They're going for the low driven ball and looking for the flick on. Really nicely dealt with, though, by New Hampshire to be able to read that service and kind of swarm that near post and not allow the flick on to go through. The back line and defensive structure for New Hampshire has just been on point so far this evening. They have made it extremely difficult for Louisville to pass around them, break them down the middle, forcing the Cards to have to go around the outside.
Schroll driving through the midfield is cut off. Trying to get Delaney Lappin on the ball here. Been unsuccessful for the Wildcats so far. Huckabee. It's run long, and Castorina will chase it down. And as you would expect, you know, you're going on the road to play an ACC opponent. There's going to be a little bit of a different challenge at hand here for UNH as the offside flag is up. But this is a team that typically has had the ball quite a bit more. And their expected goals through the first 2 games have showed that. But Casey, I would imagine that's probably a difficult thing to come into a game like this where you go from being the team that is probably more on the front foot against different types of opponents, and you come here and you're expected to kind of sit in and defend for a little bit more.
When your identity is more of a possession style team and a team that likes to see the ball, to then have that completely flipped, it's a really good test to see, can you play outside of who you naturally are? Can you be a team that adjusts to the style of the other team to win the match?
As Molly Cochran, you hate to see it, still looking a little uncomfortable, is going back to the locker room for the Cards. He's been starting up front with Jackson the past couple games. Here's Huckabee working out left now to Dardano. The fullbacks for Louisville have been ever present, either getting width, but they're also not afraid to cut inside. Here's Sexton. And some shouts for a whistle there go unheeded. Nice job there from Catini. Huckabee. It's right at Rainey. It's going to take a lot more than that to beat the America East goalkeeper of the year from last year.
But really, I feel like that's one of the first clean looks that the Cards have gotten on goal. They haven't been able to create any sort of space in and around the box, the goal area, to have shots, to have opportunities. So I think the Cards just need to see if they can work the ball a little bit quicker and then see if they can look to take chances one time. When they take that touch, again, that allows the defense time to step out and close the space. So can they look to play a little bit quicker when they get in the final third and shift the back line of New Hampshire a bit more? Then they're going to find the pockets of space. Then there's going to be opportunity for shots, but they have to just move the ball a little faster in that final third area.
Trying to find Sexton down this right flank. And that's a high challenge there from Lizzie Sexton. Good defending from Dela Cruz to hold her off. Lizzie Sexton is not one to go into duels guarded in any way.
She's got to make her presence known there, and that's exactly what that foul was.
She is always happy to spark. And I know the coaches like that about her. Good battle here in the midfield. And Giovino cut off here. You know, UNH has a really good midfield that just has not been able to get on the ball at all as Carson Cherry deals with that. Between Hewlett, Meyer, and Logue, typically UNH able to operate through the middle of the park. That has not been really the case today, as Katini goes flying in. De La Cruz trying to get Lappin available down the far side here, but that's a bit too far for the forward.
I think the problem for New Hampshire with regards to possessing in the middle is their center mids are having to drop so deep to help absorb the pressure of the Cards and to make up for the numbers that the Cards are able to push forward, that when they do win the ball, they're so far back that they don't have any point of release. They don't have an option to connect out of. And then also Delaney Loppin's having to sit so high. So maybe if she drops back a little bit more, if they're able to put Meyer or Hewitt a little bit higher up the field to be a couple other points of attack, so then they can at least find some feet when they win the ball and they aren't just dumping it back into the back line of the Cards for it to come right back at them.
Some potential subs getting ready to come on for Louisville here momentarily. Same group that came on in the first half on Sunday. A quartet of them. Some pace about to enter the game for Louisville halfway through this first half. As the sun is starting to hide behind the clouds here. This beautiful soccer facility on U of L's campus, just south of downtown Louisville. Look at that, the sunset in Kentucky doesn't get a whole lot better, and candy cane sky here, excuse me, cotton candy sky late on. As Rainey will be happy that the sunshine is no longer in her face for the remainder of this half, as 4 substitutions set to come on for the Cardinals. Gianna Angelillo, Emerson Jennings, A.G. Gibson among them. And it looked like they were about to be waved on. I was about to give you the full rotation, but they have kept them to the side here. Schroll off now to Sexton. Sexton trying to get in line here. And Giovino holds her off. Sexton's got to be careful here. That's the second time now that she has gotten a little frustrated with the defender on this left flank for her, right for Sexton. And now the subs, I believe.
This is just great defending, though, from Giovino to position herself between the ball and Sexton. And you're absolutely right. Lizzie Sexton has to be careful. The referee already giving her warning, saying 1, 2, 3, that's it. One more and it'll be a card.
I understand the frustration. She's trying to get in behind there off the dribble, but UNH has done well shielding her away from the ball. Cherry looking over the top for Jackson. This is Castorina. And Dardano wins the foul on the far side. Sexton again. They're doing a lot of business down this right side. Here's Geigley. 2 goals this season for Mackenzie Geigley. And now the substitutions will come. We had about 40 fake-outs before they finally enter the field here. But Fina Davey is going to come on, a freshman. A.G. Gibson, also a freshman, along with along with Emerson Jennings and Gianna Angelillo. Angelillo, a sophomore from Connecticut, Davey from Ohio. A.G. Gibson, a Racing Louisville Academy product and a decorated player from right here in Louisville. went to Assumption High School, and then of course Emerson Jennings on the ball here. Couldn't get her feet quite right there. Here's a look at Emerson Jennings, a junior from Noblesville, Indiana, right up I-65 from Louisville. A real spark for these Cards the past couple of years with some pace, some creativity.
She brings so much pace to the game and is able to just be so electric down that right side. And like you said, the right side has really been where the Cards have looked to play down. So I would imagine that they're continuing to travel down that right side, especially bringing in Emerson Jennings.
Garenti and Dardano going to battle down on that far side. It's a good fight here for Angelillo on the far side. She had the assist in the second half against UAB. Good ball delivery in there. It was knocked away. Now A.G. Gibson, the freshman. This is Sexton. Jennings. Good ball in from Jennings. Dealt with by UNH. This is Sexton. Catini. And that is right at Rainey, who once again does not really have to break a sweat to deal with that.
Yeah, easy collect there from Sally Rainey. I like Emerson Jennings getting down the right side there, but there just aren't enough runners in the box. There was only one player making a run to get on the end of that, and that was Fina Davey there. But then when the ball pops out, nicely done by Catini to put that one back in. But if the Cards want to find the back of the net, they're going to have to get a little bit more aggressive and be willing to commit some numbers inside that box.
On the far side here, UNH just trying to find ways to get Garenti and Lappin involved. But Louisville deals with that, and now Catini in transition here. She's got Jennings. This is not someone you want to be isolated with on the flank. Jennings going right at De La Cruz. Good ball through, and it's scored! Louisville has the lead. It was Jennings who created it. And it is Catini who finished it.
This is the first time you've been able to see the Cards on the run. They really get a nice build-up play as the ball played out wide to find Emerson Jennings on that one. And what I love the most is the way Emerson Jennings attacks this. She runs right at the defender, and if you look there, you see her get her head up, and she sees Catini making the run in there. Right there, head up, picks her out, knows exactly where this cross is going. And what a battle by Lauren Catini to put that one in the back of the net. That is a spectacular goal.
A true finisher's finish there. And what a moment it is for the freshman from Ohio, as she gets on the score sheet for the first time in her collegiate career. That is now 10 assists on 11 goals for Louisville this season. And it's taken them a little bit of time here to get their breakthrough compared to the previous two games, but they'll be happy with that one as Emerson Jennings gets the delivery and her first assist of the season.
Well, now it becomes an interesting game for New Hampshire. Do you continue to sit back and hold in that tight defensive shape, or do you push out a little bit and see if you can find that equalizer, find that fight to get back in this game just like you did in previous matches?
It is an interesting composition, this team, as you look across the roster. We mentioned most of these players were either returning or freshmen, but also a lot of them returning from injury. Jackson, Dardano. Jennings has dealt with injuries. So in some senses, I'm sure it feels a little bit like they are coming new into the program after having sat out for a season. I know you've experienced that and what that's like, but it just feels like there's an energy about this group that is very different than in previous years.
There really is. The energy is higher. It's a team that is willing to do anything to win. They have the fight. They want to play pretty soccer. And then, like you said, having players that have set out for an entire year, that kind of anticipation and build up to that season where you're finally allowed to play is unlike anyone's ever experienced. You watch an entire season, you're just sitting there calculating how you're going to come back, what you're going to do better, what needs to change. So then when you have your moment, you're not going to ruin it. You're not going to let anything happen to that moment because you know what it means to miss out on it. So I think you've got a lot of players that are playing like there's nothing to lose, and having that sort of mentality in the ACC is what's going to set you apart, and it's going to set you up for success too. Louisville has nothing to lose in the ACC, so why not have that mentality in every single game that you play?
Final 13 minutes and change, or excuse me, 12 minutes and change for Louisville, as Catini and Jennings there not quite on the same page. And I know Karen Ferguson-Day is really excited about A.G. Gibson. Two-time All-State player, as we mentioned, in the Racing Academy. Brooke Dardano, a product of the Racing Louisville Academy as well. Betsy Huckabee. And these youngsters from this area are helping her build a nice, talented team. Jennings again isolated out here on the right. Trying to get inside, took a heavy touch. Keeps it alive. Huckabee. Or excuse me, that was Catini. And it's just not quite directed on frame.
Jennings' touch just gets a little far away from her there, but I really like the first time look from Catini. I've been saying that all game, that they're taking too many touches when they get in the final third, and there she tries to go for the one time, and I like that, and she was actually able to get a shot off. It wasn't what she wanted to do at all, but at least she was able to get the shot off.
That's a great ball through. This is Lappin. And the offside flag is up. Just a moment where UNH thought maybe, just maybe, this would break through. But just offside for Lappin.
Really close there, though, but good defense from the Cards. What they did so well there was Carson Cherry was watching the ball and kind of staying with Lappin, and then right before the ball is played, she steps up, forcing her offsides.
Hasn't been a whole lot of activity for Cherry and Snyder back there. They've been more conductors of the orchestra than anything else. And Garenti has really been the spark for UNH now for a couple seasons. I have not been able to really get her much joy down that right side. Here comes Cherry. 2 goals in her pocket so far this season, both headers. This is Sexton, good overlap there from Jennings. And Giovino took a hit there. Appears to be shaking it off. And the Cards back on the ball here. There's Gibson. This is Huckabee. Sexton. And they'll shift the point of attack here. This is Dardano. Can she pick out a cross? She's looking for Davy, and it was a good ball in. Davy just underran it.
Yeah, that's a great look there into the box. Fina Davy just not able to make the contact that she needs to be successful on that.
Substitution coming on for UNH. It's Greta Colton, the sophomore from Amherst, New Hampshire, coming on. And it looked like Giovino came off. And then Chloe DeLiser also coming on there for Delaney Lappin. And final few minutes of this first half, maybe that'll help New Hampshire a little bit with some spark. Good battle there between Jennings and Poulin. It's still alive though. Jennings trying to get back onto it. And Casey, it really is at this point very compact for UNH. 9 players behind the ball seemingly at all times.
Yeah, it's just kind of dropping all numbers back and having that one player camp out up top is that hope to kick and release it. But what's difficult about that is that one player is surrounded by 3 or 4 white shirts. So the minute that the ball gets played out, it's not ending up at that one player. The Cards are able to turn it back over and then just come right back down New Hampshire's throats. So New Hampshire has got to figure out a way to not only keep a tight defensive shape, but kind of spread it out a little bit so they have options to be able to possess out of the back and they're able to not defend for the majority of the game.
One of the fixtures here at Lynn Stadium, our friends from Norfolk Southern, rolling through here, always adds a little bit to the aesthetic. As they say hello. It's a good ball in there, but Rainey is the only one that's around it.
This is a good opportunity for New Hampshire to try to push the ball forward. They have to win the first and second ball off of Rainey's punt here, and they got to see if they can possess out of it. They need to get something positive going into halftime.
Just have not really been able to get on the ball and keep it for very long in this game thus far. This is Snyder. Now Dardano, a couple of local products. Angelillo. Dardano and Angelillo having some fun on this left side. Cross cleared away easily by Maddie Kolb. Catini trying to size up another volley there. No such luck. And it's all the way back into the defensive half for Louisville.
The Cards really able to work it side to side as easily as they want, especially across that back line. Again, at just a little bit more pace when they get into the final third. The way they got the goal was in a quick transition. So as New Hampshire gets set in their shape, they're going to be more difficult to break down. So can they continue to work the ball quickly from side to side to create those pockets of space?
That's a good ball through to Sexton, and it took a sliding challenge from Colton to force the corner. Good defending from the substitute for UNH. Trotting over to take this corner is going to be Brooke Dardano.
Excellent opportunity here for the Cards to see if they can go up 2 in these final few minutes of the first half.
Carson Cherry always a good target in there. We have a couple of options. It's a near post ball and a commanding header there out for another corner. That was Poulin coming over to knock it away.
The Cards are really overcrowding that goal line there, putting several bodies on there, making it difficult for Rainey to be able to come cleanly for a ball.
Dardano again on the delivery. It's to the back post, and Carson Cherry was there, but she couldn't direct it on frame. It momentarily got the crowd excited. As 2 substitutions will come on. Elizabeth Finn and Lily Johnson on for New Hampshire. Anna Hewlett and Abby Meyer coming off. And how did we get here? 3.5 minutes left in this first half. It was through Lauren Catini, who just got a boot on across from Emerson Jennings. The 2 substitutes. Connecting to give Louisville the lead here, and that is the difference in this first half. The score is tight, but Louisville has outshot UNH 7-0, 5-0 in terms of shots on goal. This is Jennings trying to get going down this right flank. She's got a lot of pace. She has some numbers with her. The pass was in a little bit behind Davey. Jennings working now with Sexton. Sexton, first time cross is blocked. De La Cruz has had a good first half.
A busy first half,
Very
that's
busy
for sure.
first half.
Like you said, the Cards have done a lot of their attacking down this right side.
Nicely worked there from Davey to get a cross in. It falls to A.G. Gibson. Gibson fires from distance, and that was more hopeful than dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult to beat a keeper like Sally Rainey from that type of distance, especially with more of a looping shot. It's going to have to be a pretty perfect, powerful shot to the upper 90. You know, one of those just completely unsavable kind of goals to be able to beat Rainey from that distance.
A.G. Gibson traveled with the professionals, the Racing Louisville senior team, down to Colombia to train with the team for a week, along with Tate Blinko, another local product who ended up going to Ole Miss. But Gibson, really a bright future ahead of her, and Louisville very excited to have her as Sexton drives forward for the Cards. This is Jennings. Here's Huckabee, another one of those talented locals. Nicely worked there from Sexton. Hadley, I'm not sure if that was a shot or a mishit cross there, trying to get a one-timer in, but it ended up just on the roof of the net.
It's one of those to where if it goes in the back of the net, it was 100% supposed to be a shot.
A Schross.
Exactly.
Call it a vertical ball in, and Rainey had to just make sure that it was not going to find its way into the back of the net. As the clock wanes down here of this first half. The breakthrough from Catini, and the assist from Jennings. Looks like that's going to be the difference maker in this first half. And Casey, I guess I'd be very curious to know, as this clock winds down, what you think the halftime speeches are going to be.
I think for New Hampshire, it's going to be, you just got to continue to find that fight. They've been playing a lot of defense. That's exhausting, both mentally and physically. So can they see if they can begin to build some more possession go in the second half? Can they find those connections? Can they dominate the midfield? They have a numbers up situation in the middle of the field. Can they utilize that a bit more? So just looking to find that fight and to not back down. Then for the Cards, I think you've got to be pleased with the way the half goes. You pretty much had control of the entire half. I think now it's just going to be, can we be patient, and then can we figure out when is the right time to play it?
In their last 28 games in August, and they're trying to make that 22 wins. And, you know, look, you don't want to overstate it too much. It's still early in the season, but these were games last year that Louisville really struggled with. So there is a real comparison there. It's not apples to oranges in terms of the games that we're running these numbers against. As the Cards get ready to start the second half, it'll be A.G. Gibson to restart. Louisville going right to left on your screens here in the second half, wearing white kits with red shorts. UNH going left to right in their blues with white trim. And 45 minutes here for UNH to have its second comeback in as many games. Came back from 1-0 and 2-1 against Holy Cross to win 3-2 in rather dramatic fashion. Delaney Lappin, the America East Offensive Player of the Week. A big reason for that. He got 2 goals for Steve Wellham and his team late on in that one. So we'll see if maybe the Wildcats can drum up some magic in this second half.
Well, and that's where I think the Cards, if they want to solidify this game, they've got to get at least 2 goals early on because of the capabilities that New Hampshire has and because of the history they have of coming back late in games. That's got to be on their mind. So if this game stays 1-0, if I'm New Hampshire, that's building confidence for me because I know that we have fought back before and we can do it again.
Victoria Vick trying to play in Geigley on the far side there, but good defending on that left flank. And that was where all of the action happened in the first half for the most part between Lizzie Sexton and Mackenzie Geigley, and then Emerson Jennings coming on. And it's really been interesting because the first game against Bellarmine, it was more than half of the attacking work was done down the left flank through Brooke Dardano, and then here the last game and a half now, Louisville has really shifted out to the right. And they're working on the other side of the field.
That makes me think if it had something to do with the scouting report.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Teams watch video, the coaches have notes, they have everything that you could possibly imagine on their opponent in the week leading up to the game. They're training the way they want to play. They're studying the way their opponent's going to play so they understand it and they're not technically surprised, even though, I mean, technically the team could change how they're going to play. But they've obviously recognized that the right side is where they're going to be able to see a lot of success, and that is probably through the scouting report.
Here's Dardano down this left flank. Would love to get her name back in the assist books again there, but good defending from Garenti coming back. Dardano, a player who came back off injury. She started her career as a winger. And I gotta say, Karen Ferguson-Days has found some wingers and turned them into fullbacks and had a lot of success with it. Raven Alexander, of course, the one that comes immediately to mind as someone who was a forward and switched out to the fullback position and really thrived there.
My sister was another one.
There you go.
Yeah. So
shout out Allison.
Allison Whitfield, another one. Used to be a wing forward and turned into an awesome outside back.
And Dardano off to a great start this year. Played a lot as a freshman, started a lot as a freshman, then moved into more of a frequently used substitute role, and is now a starter again as the Cards trying to work down that right flank through Amber Jackson.
I think the style that Karen likes to play feeds into outside forwards being able to transition nicely into an outside back. She wants her outside backs to be up and involved in the attack. She wants them to be making those overlapping runs to get in behind. So having a player that is well versed in going forward in the attack and being able to kind of teach them the defensive mind of the outside back role is really, really crucial.
Karen Ferguson-Days, who played her college ball up in New England at UConn. Made some appearances for the U.S. women's national team, which, by the way, is coming to Louisville on October 30th. Downtown Lynn Family Stadium, pretty exciting opportunity for the city. As a free kick here is going to come from Schroll. Right-footed delivery to the back post. Cherry is there. Good save from Rainey. I don't know if that was on frame, but Rainey did not want to guess herself. And it's going to be a corner coming up for the Cards.
And that is exactly who you want getting on the end of those services, is Carson Cherry, already having 2 goals off of set pieces. She is definitely the target. I'm honestly surprised New Hampshire doesn't have 2 players marking her.
Corner delivered in again, and Garenti is just going to boot it clear. Don't blame her. Give the Wildcats a chance to reconfigure their shape a little bit, and the giveaway there will end the threat. This is Castorina on the near side for UNH. And Louisville happy to cycle possession through. This is Hadley Snyder. Snyder and Cherry really pulling the strings at center back. Schroll working at Jackson. This is Dardano out wide. Trying to get that left-footed cross in, and she wins. It looked like maybe a corner, but the ball deflected back off of Dardano. And it'll be a goal kick for Sally Rainey. Good defending there.
Very good defending. One thing that I like when watching the Cards, when they're working across the back line, their front 3 and 4 players are constantly interchanging. One's checking back into the space. They're waiting there for a second. If they don't get the ball, they're checking out. Another player is then coming and checking in. So they're constantly moving off the ball up top. What that's allowing or forcing New Hampshire to have to do is to have to step with them and hopefully create the pockets. Now, the next level to that, instead of just checking straight back, can they make a few more diagonal runs where they're going to force New Hampshire to have to communicate those runs a bit more, maybe causing a little bit more disruption across the back line?
This is a chance maybe to break for UNH. Finally seeing some daylight. De La Cruz looking for Lappin with the long ball there, cut out by Cherry. And still an opportunity here. This is Megan Logue. And now a chance here. UNH really, honestly, has not been on the ball a whole lot in this game. And working it all the way back to Rainey.
I feel like this is some of the longest spell of possession they've been able to see, and so that's got to be encouraging for them to be able to connect a few passes and push out of that shape. They've got to see, though, if they can continue to change the point of attack, work it from side to side, and instead of playing hopeful balls like that, can they find feet and can they keep the ball a bit more?
And it's been hard to stay on the ball for them. They are still very much in this game. It's only 1-0 here. Just about 9 minutes into the second half. The shot blocked once. Second on is right at Rainey. And it's Fina Davey trying to get that on frame.
While the Cards have had 10 shots, quite a few of them have been very easy saves for Sally Rainey. The only one that I would say challenged her was the one that ended up in the back of the net. All of them have been right at her hands, easy grabs, not really making her move much side to side. So the Cards, if you're wanting to look ahead and get more goals, you're going to have to challenge her a bit more and put it to one of the sides and make her dive for it.
6 saves tonight for Rainey. And you're right, Casey. I think all 6 of them, well, one of them was the stop on the Cherry header, but the other 5, I think, have all been right at her. There's Gibson. Now Lappin trying to get on the ball there. Lappin, 2 goals. That's a good ball out to the left side. Giovino trying to have a go. It was blocked by Sexton. Still alive, though. It's a high cross in. Garenti got ahead to it, but it wasn't really enough to cause any problems for the Cards. As Victoria Vick carries the ball away.
those looping services, the ones where you get a lot of air underneath it and kind of floated into the box, are really difficult for your teammates who are in the box to deal with, because then they have to get underneath it and they have to generate the power to put it on frame. If you drive the ball a little bit more, put a little bit more pace on your service, it's easier for your teammate then to redirect it on frame, because they aren't having to generate as much power. It's just more of a matter of getting behind it and directing the ball where you want it to go.
Good turn there from Giovino, but she's surrounded by Cardinals. And Schroll does well there to come back and take possession back for the Cards.
Cards just looked calm under pressure. Even when they were having to defend, they were very well organized. They knew where the runners were. They had bodies around it, so there really was no other threat. They look composed defensively, which is exactly what you want your team looking like.
A couple of juniors there at center back. And then Dardano is a senior. Lizzie Sexton a junior, so an older group there in front of the goalkeeper Floyd, who is in her 3rd year of starting now as a junior, so a bit more experience. Obviously they needed some time to build after having a veteran back line for years. Carson Cherry really the only one to break through the older group. Here's Gibson, shifts it out to the left. This is Dardano. Trying to work with Victoria Vick, and Dardano is going to just have to trot back and collect it.
Again, just showing the patience that the Cards have had, working the ball side to side, not really trying to force it too much. They are maybe forcing it a little bit too much into Amber Jackson, and they got penalized for it, but just patient, working it side to side, figuring out when the moment is that they can kind of push the pace.
Well, we talked about sharpening the tools before you get into the real thick of it for Louisville, and you look at this schedule, my goodness. It is not going to be fun for anybody in the ACC. As you look at some of these big ones, of course, Louisville probably happy that, hey, you're going to play #2 Stanford, but at least they're coming here. You don't have to go all the way out to the West Coast.
That's a hike.
That is a big hike, long day of travel. But
well, and you also got to remember, they're students first.
Yes.
I mean, these players are in classes all week. They are, you know, doing homework, taking exams. So to say, oh, yeah, but we see professional teams do that all the time. You know, they travel across the country for games, you know, every single week. It's different when you are a student athlete. And they always say they're students first, athletes second. So just a big reminder that that is a big hike, because they're not only, you know, having to play games week in and week out, they have to go to class too.
That is very much true. I think Louisville will be happy with the schedule, though. A lot of these trips, the traditional ACC trips for them, as Geigley just couldn't quite find Amber Jackson. Jackson really has not had much of a chance to get on anything tonight. Dardano looking inward. Geigley almost able to flick that on. That would have been some goal if that snuck past Rainey there, but the goalkeeper alert to it.
I like that Geigley is the type of player that just tries to get anything on it. It drops too low to get her head on it, so she just looks to try to flick it with the outside of her foot. It's a great idea, just really hard to get power on that.
Carson Cherry, a decorated high school basketball player, in addition to, I think it was 159 high school goals. State record for goals in a season. And has made her mark here in Louisville as a center back. A big set piece threat. This is Amber Jackson. Here's Emma Kate Schroll. Has grown really well into the starting central midfield role. after the last 2 years as a sub. That's beautiful from Geigley. Sexton fires, and it's right at Rainey, but a tricky little back heel there from Geigley got the opportunity for Sexton.
That's really great stuff down the right side between those two. And again, they do all the hard stuff, and then the shot just has not challenged Rainey enough. That is a difficult angle, but again, you've got to begin to challenge her a bit more if you want to get up in this match, because the longer that this stays 1-0, the more confident New Hampshire is going to be in their ability to fight back in this match.
Louisville very much in control of this game. 13 shots to 0. But as Casey said, very much in the balance here at just 1-0. Working through that midfield, this is Garenti. They want to get her on the ball as much as possible, but Lappin a little bit ambitious there, trying to play out in front of Garenti.
Well, just look at the numbers difference. Louisville has dropped back 6 of their players to help defend, and New Hampshire only sent forward 2 or 3. So you're not going to beat a team 6v3. So if New Hampshire wants to break through, they're gonna have to push out of the back a little bit and be willing to commit some numbers forward. By pushing more numbers forward, you're gonna have to force more players from Louisville to have to drop back and defend.
Louisville just working through the lines. Geigley just having so much fun tonight. Trying to turn again there, and she took a big hit. Stays with it. But again, good defending from UNH. Play on there as shouts from the UNH sideline for the foul call for Abby Meyer. That's a great ball in. Is Garenti there? No, it's cut off. Good goalkeeping from Floyd. It was Meyer and Garenti giving chase, but some good stuff through the middle from the Wildcats.
One really good from Floyd there, like you said, coming off of her line. As a goalkeeper, when you have not seen much action during the game or the ball hasn't come to you, you haven't had to do a whole lot during the match, it can be so easy to tune out, space out, kind of start thinking about what you're going to have for dinner after this, what you got going on this weekend, because you haven't had to do anything. And so it's so important for them to stay locked in, to stay engaged, and that's exactly what Floyd has been able to do.
Great ball to the back post, but Vic just not quite able to get to it, as Louisville is going to do the same line change that it did in the first half. Jennings, Catini, and Angelillo come on. Huckabee joining them this time, as she started out the first half on the bench, or started out the second half on the bench. Vic is off, Jackson is off, Geigley is off. And Emma-Kate Schroll is going to come off. So Huckabee and Gibson will be the midfield rotation, with Jennings out on the right, Angelillo on the left, and then Catini and Davey are your center forwards now for Louisville. The back line remains the same. Gibson, good idea, just a little too hot to handle for Angelillo, the transfer from the University of Miami down in Florida, the alma mater of Bev Yanez.
Look at that.
Head coach of Racing Louisville. I can only do that twice. I pulled it on Sunday on Lauren Millay, and I pulled it today on Casey Whitfield, and now I will never do that again. Of course, Bev has a lot of connections to Louisville beyond just being the racing coach. Her husband played at the University of Louisville, O.T. Yanez, and is now an assistant coach at Bellarmine. So the circle is small, as they say in this part of the country.
Yeah, we got to see him last week.
Yeah, and that's a tangle there as Catini caught Meyer. Relatively easy call here, and a chance maybe for UNH. We'll see if they want to play to feet here or if they want to try to pump something forward. Haven't had much fortune through the air.
I think you almost have to send something forward, though. You don't have any shots. You've got to see if you can dump something in the box, pray for a half chance, get one of your players on it, look for that second bouncing ball, get on the first ball. You've got to put the ball in the box and begin to challenge the back line.
This is Kolb on the delivery. On the edge of the area. Still alive for UNH, but a heavy first touch there from Lappin as she tried to get down to that corner flag, and it'll be a goal kick for Floyd and the Cards.
Lappin just ran out of real estate there. She had the right idea to get around the outside, but I just don't know if she knew where she was or took a missed touch there, but just not able to have the quality on the ball that she was wanting.
Louisville 24 minutes and change away from delivering Cards fans a doubleheader victory. The men's team winning earlier today against Jacksonville, 2-0. Gibson cycles it out to the left. This is Dardano. Just a little too soft there. Now a chance maybe for UNH. But as you said, Casey, there just is no outlet that is a viable one. You're passing into 3 defenders there.
I mean, there's about 15, 20, maybe even, but I'd say closer to 20 yards between Delaney Lappin and the next line of players. Just a massive, massive gap there. And you're asking a lot of your midfield players that are there in Lappin to fill that gap and fill that void, especially when the Cards have like 3 and 4 players interchanging in and out of that space.
They have grown into it a little bit more here in the second half as more action has taken place in the midfield and into Louisville's defensive half. There was very little to speak of, if any at all, in that first half, as Cherry is going to have to poke that out for a throw under the pressure of Lappin. And the Wildcats now a chance to get some bodies forward and see what they can do here in the attacking half. Giovino couldn't quite get to it. It was put off there by Sexton.
They still have not been able to even get a corner kick so far in this match.
No shots, no corners. It's been that kind of night for UNH. Huckabee sprays it out to the right. This is Lizzie Sexton. Emerson Jennings found a lot of room to dribble in that first half, set up the goal for Lauren Catini. Trying to slip in Huckabee there, but it's a bit long. Next up for UNH is a return home on Sunday. They'll play UConn. So speaking of Karen Ferguson days, the coach's alma mater. This is Brooke Dardano. Right-footed delivery is a good one. Knocked down and chased away by Elizabeth Finn, sophomore from Situate, Mass. My grandparents lived there for
looky there.
Years.
Family connection.
Lovely town. This is Betsy Huckabee. Davey operating in a tight space, got a cross away. It was knocked down and away by Finn. Now through Dardano again. Louisville just moving the Rubik's Cube a little bit here. Let's see if they can get something aligned. Dardano trying to get to the end line. Good defending on that right side by Castorina. Now Lappin holding it up. It's a good pass there, and that's given away.
The idea was right, looking to go up back and then completely change the point of attack, just not able to get clean contact on the ball to have the type of service that was needed to execute on it. And I feel like that's kind of been the definition of the offense so far for New Hampshire. The ideas have been there, the quality just hasn't been for them.
Dardano into some space. That's Catini, the goal scorer, as it stands the game winner for the freshman. There's A.G. Gibson trying to work the 1-2 with Davey. Huckabee slipped there.
But her and Gibson have just been able to pick the ball up in those acres of space and really have time to get their head up and do whatever they want with it.
And pinging the ball around there. And that one just kind of given away. It has to be said, though, UNH has really not had to sweat a whole lot, even with those pockets of space that the central midfielders have had. They've defended rather comfortably in this one.
Well, I think they aren't really even sweating on a lot of the shots that the Cards have had too, because the only one that was threatening was one that ended up in the back of the net. All the other ones have been really easy saves, or over the frame, or whatever. So they've got to be pleased with how they're defending. I mean, you look back at this game and you think we had a team that took 13 shots on us and we only allowed 1 goal so far. That's going to be a pretty big stat to lock out a team that has been just flooding goals and scoring at will almost, it seems, in their previous 2 matches.
See if Louisville has what it takes to break the seal here in the second half, as Dardano is brought down from behind by Garenti. And that is going to be an opportunity for Dardano. I'm going to call this, we'll say 35 yards roughly. And it's Dardano and Huckabee, the South Oldham girls, over the ball.
You're looking to put this one right in between the PK spot and the 6-yard box. Right in that sweet spot for a player to run onto, but a little bit too far out for the goalkeeper to come for it.
Dardano, well, then knocked down and away. What a program South Oldham has become out of Oldham County. Dardano and Huckabee, big factors in that, of course. Had a couple of boys' high school products come out of there too. Josh Winder ended up signing with Benfica in Portugal out of Oldham County.
I think just soccer in general within this area has just taken off in the past few years, and it's been fun to watch players grow and develop and really reach their full potential.
And it's got to be a big benefit for Karen Ferguson Days, and obviously you and your sister, local products. Amina Ekic, of course, a big name more in recent years coming through the program as a local product, but to see the sport grow and the number of high-level players expand is surely helpful for both Louisville and Kentucky to have local kids that they can recruit at a higher rate.
Well, and I think just the knowledge of the game and the credibility that Kentucky is now getting. I mean, I remember when I was going on recruiting visits and people were like, oh, you're from Kentucky and whatnot. I mean, now it's like we're on the map. Louisville and Kentucky are now on the map for being soccer crazy, I would say.
Well, certainly very much a rapid change in the last, especially decade, I would say. Brooke Pearson coming on for UNH, replacing Abby Meyer. Doesn't happen very often, but we just saw a bad throw from Angelillo as the ball slipped through her hands.
I feel like that is a rarity, but yeah, the ball has to be released over your head. So really unfortunate that it slipped for her. Definitely wasn't intentional.
You got to figure there's been some sweating on the field. I mean, they're running around for 90 minutes.
And they water the field at halftime too.
That's true.
So makes another difference.
As Victoria Vick will check in for the Cards, replacing Angelillo. That was tough there for Vick, kind of got stuck between two players. And a free kick coming here, but yeah, just a heavy challenge from Megan Logue into Finn there.
Oh yeah, in slow motion there, it's just, for Finn, looked pretty painful if you ask me. Luckily, she seems to be okay and moving around.
Dardano and Huckabee over this one. It is Dardano, straight ball in and to the back post. There's no one there. That was honestly pretty well struck ball in. There's just no options.
It's a good service, and the weight was nice. The position of it was nice. Just no one was making that run for her.
Down under the 15-minute mark here at Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium on U of L's campus. A couple minutes south of downtown Louisville. Good battle there on the far side. It's won, though, by UNH. Wildcats on the bench. Very much enjoying that as almost a disaster for Rainey. Just had to be challenged there from Catini.
Love that effort, though, from Lauren Catini to apply that pressure, to run at the goalkeeper full speed and put the pressure on her. Could you imagine if that went in? What a moment that would have been for her to have 2 goals in this match. I think Rainey very, very fortunate to have escaped that one.
A little bit of token pressure there from the forward Catini.
What I love is the energy on the bench that UNH is giving to their team. That energy, that cheering them on, is going to help lift them in these final few minutes. I mean, we're at the final moments of the match, and that bench is just electric with energy.
Certainly seem to be enjoying the road trip here. Starting to ask a little bit more questions. Hadley Snyder, the Assumption High product, Louisville kid. It's proven to be a nice addition to this back line. Lappin still with it. Clearance there blocked away by Gibson. That was a great recovery from E.G. Gibson to get in the way of that cross. Now some life maybe for UNH as you mentioned, Casey, the bench keeping things lively.
Just takes one shot.
It's the second road trip of the season for UNH. They went down to Stonehill to play on the road. They won that one 2-0. Stonehill, a really nice little campus in Massachusetts. Here's Dardano down the left flank, down under 11 minutes. She's got Vick. And Vick couldn't quite get around Kolb trying to dribble into the area. That's really when a lot of the play has been stunted for Louisville after doing the work to get there. Sexton all the way back to win this one ahead of Giovino. Couple substitutions preparing to come on for Louisville here. We'll see who they're going to be coming on for. Huckabee through the middle. She's got Dardano. Louisville would love to get a second here to put this game out of reach. That's a great ball from Dardano, and Catini, for a moment there, it opened up. Going to be difficult going away from goal like that, but a good effort from Catini sent it over.
It's a great kind of turn and no shot look. She just leans back ever so often on the follow through on that, and that's how she gets underneath it and lifts it up. But a really nice little combination play there to release her in that open space.
So the substitutions come on. Emerson Jennings is off for Mackenzie Geigley. 2 goals this season for Geigley. And Brooke Dardano coming off here late for Brooklyn Lee. Lee had been used as a center back previous 2 games. Coming in for some defensive energy here late. Durante keeps it alive there and wins the throw. You can't really tell when Durante is on the ball. It's like, okay, yeah, she is one of their go-to attacking players. She's got a little spark to her.
I don't think they've been able to find her enough. I think she's kind of been bogged down playing a lot of defense and having to sit back so deep that they haven't been able to get her on the ball in favorable spots for her to be able to shine.
Definitely still enough time for Garenti and company to find a moment. All they need is one here to draw a level. Floyd's going to come way off her line there, comfortably catching that one.
Okay, but it's a good run by Delaney Loppin there to apply that pressure. Floyd is always going to be engaged, though, in reading that beautifully. It was not going to be threatening, but again, it just takes one chance for them to be able to break through, so the Cards have to make sure that they don't lose focus in these final 8 minutes. They have to stay sharp.
Here's Carson Cherry. As we've said, Louisville very much in control when they're in possession here. UNH trying to turn the pressure up. And Sexton showing a little physicality there. This is Geigley. Chance to whip a cross in, headed away by Logue. Gibson trying a half volley there from the distance, but honestly, from a flat-footed position, not always the easiest hit.
Almost had too much time to sit there and think about it. Some of those where you have so much time and space to be able to settle it and think through the shot, you kind of overthink it, you don't get your footing right, and that's kind of what we saw there, a little flat-footed, not able to get the ball out from underneath her enough to make good contact on the ball. But UNH's energy so far in these final few minutes has been really electric.
Picking up here, 6.5 minutes left. Louisville, a great opportunity here for the Cards. They have not been in a game where they've really had to do a whole lot of game management. It was 3-0 against UAB in a handball as defender was trying to carry the ball out of the area. the defensive penalty area for a penalty. As the header was flicked on there and cleared away. That was the only goal that they've conceded off a penalty late in that one. Well, they're really having to manage this game. Here's Cherry, the captain. Happy to just pass it around the back. Lee. This is Vic. Gibson. And now Snyder. The Assumption connection there.
Louisville just really trying to put this game to a close, and UNH not applying a ton of pressure to really force them to do anything but exactly what they're doing, just working the ball side to side, passing it amongst the defenders. UNH is going to have to step out of that shape a little bit, apply a little more pressure if they want the Cards to have any sort of urgency in their plans, or else we're probably going to see this for about 4 more minutes.
And that is a big opportunity for Lappin. And UNH, with 4 minutes and 37 seconds to go, registers its first shot of the game, and it is a goal. Delaney Lappin, for the second time in as many games, has come through with some late heroics as Aaron Floyd took a heavy touch, and Lappin pounced.
Like I said, it only takes one chance, and UNH made their chance count. That is a very poor mistake from Aaron Floyd, very uncharacteristic of her, but great pressure from Delaney Lappin. She's been kind of poaching in that area all game and finally saw her chance to pounce there on Floyd and really made the most of it. It's an excellent opportunity, and the Cards have themselves in a pickle here.
Well, now Karen Ferguson-Days gets to see what her team has in this moment. 4 minutes, 15 seconds to go. And for the first time this season, they are tied in a game. They've had their chances, 15 shots to 1. 9 of them on target, but as we've noted, 7 of them have been right at UNH goalkeeper Sally Rainey. 1 was off the frame, but Rainey was being safe to tap it out for a corner, and the other was the Catini goal. UNH one shot on goal.
Like I've been saying it all game, it just takes one chance, and that was my biggest fear, was that the Cards were looking a little complacent, and the energy coming from the bench of UNH is contagious. I'm like, I want to get out there and play for them because they're just cheering. They're cheering on their teammates. They're screaming so loud, and they are willing their team to victory. And the UNH, like I said at the beginning too, the longer they stay in the game, the more confident they're going to be. And just being down 1-0 is them staying in the game. So the Cards did not capitalize on the chances that they created to put them away.
Let's see if there's some late magic for Louisville. This is Geigley. Has a shot on frame, and it's right at Rainey. Geigley, definitely one of the more aggressive players today for Louisville yet again. That's her second shot of the game. But Louisville now urging their players forward to see if they can drum up the energy to go find the go-ahead goal. And you're right, that UNH bench is having itself a grand old time here as we are down to the final 150 seconds of this one.
It's like 2 totally different benches. You have a bench that is cheering their team on and a bench that is just watching their team on. And the energy is contagious out there on the field. You're seeing it.
Geigley trying to drive through the middle. Sexton out to the right, but didn't see her. And then Gibson thought, I think she had a teammate there, but
you know what? I think that's exactly what they wanted to do. Push it back in that corner, push out, see if they can apply some pressure and lock it in. A tie to them is a win.
Come on the road to an ACC school, batten down the hatches. You get one well-taken goal, and it has to be said, from Catini, assisted by Emerson Jennings. And you just defend for your life for 85 minutes, and in the 86th you get a goal. And that may just be what UNH needs to get out here with a point. I'm laughing because this bench is just very entertaining.
It is really entertaining. I find myself going back and forth between watching the bench and watching the game.
This is Gibson out to the left now. Vic skipped off her boot, and Garenti's going to just boot it clear. Here's Lee down to the final minute. Does Louisville have something late in this game to steal back the win? This is Sexton. They've got Geigley way out here, but Sexton carrying into the crowd. Loses it on the dribble. And I'll tell you what, Casey, for Louisville, obviously it's very early in the season, but came into this game with some wind in their sails. They get the goal, dominating the game. This feels like maybe a deflation a little bit in the final few minutes. Ball pumped into the area. 19 seconds. A.G. Gibson with it at her feet. 15 seconds. The clock is the enemy at this point. And UNH is going to steal a point in Louisville here as the Wildcats get a goal in the 86th minute through Delaney Lappin. A little persistence bothering the goalkeeper, and a late goal has this thing end 1-0.